Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Good evening. First up on the Nightbeat, we are learning a Uvalde CISD police officer whose wife was killed in the Robb Elementary shooting has now resigned.
An official with the district confirmed this resignation this evening. Ruben Ruiz's wife was fourth grade teacher Eva Morales. Ruiz, who was seen checking his phone in hallway surveillance video, had received a phone call from her saying she had been shot. Ruiz was taken from the hallway and was disarmed by other law enforcement officers.
Morales was alive when she was pulled from that classroom, but died on the way to the hospital. The date of Ruiz's resignation is not clear this evening.
Well, depending where you are, you might already be seeing and feeling that light rain in our area, and that rain is expected to continue into the evening.
But with so many people heading out for Thanksgiving travel this week, will it have any impact on your morning commute tomorrow and throughout the holiday week? Let's check in with meteorologist Mia Montgomery. How's this going to impact travel this week?
Well, tomorrow morning could be a little bit of a soggy start to the day, and it also will be pretty cold out there as well. So you want to plan on packing the umbrella as well as bundling up. Let's take a look at the radar out there here this Sunday night, because we already do have some of that activity filtering through Bexar County, stretching up to Comal County as well as Kendall County. Again, here in town, we also have been seeing some of that light rain generally stream in from the southwest and push farther off to the northeast. We are expecting rain chances to increase through the overnight hours tonight, and by the time you are stepping out for the morning drive tomorrow morning. Now, on top of just the soggy commute, it also is going to be cold. Temperature-wise, pretty similar to what we found out there today, starting off in the low 40s here in San Antonio, and because of that rain-cooled air as well as the cloud cover in place, we likely will not break out of the mid to upper 40s tomorrow afternoon. So we'll talk more about these rain chances, plus get you a preview of what Thanksgiving Day could look like here in South Central Texas in just a few, guys.
Mia, thank you. Well, for the first time in 2 years, the Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner will be held in person at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. Today, volunteers spent the day preparing for Thursday.
All this, of course, as organizers tell the night team's Alyssa Cole they need even more help as the side effects of inflation continue.
We lost the interaction with the people, the dancing, the music, all the fun that came with the nostalgic value of the Thanksgiving dinner, which my grandfather started 43 years ago. So we're super happy to be back.
One of the nation's largest Thanksgiving dinners is underway in downtown San Antonio, the 43rd Raul Jimenez annual Thanksgiving dinner. On Sunday, the RK Group donating more than 550 turkeys.
Proud to say that we were able to donate the turkeys needed to provide this meal for this long-standing San Antonio Raul Jimenez dinner tradition.
Make sure that the turkeys have access water.
The community-style dinner is a give-back event expected to feed more than 25,000 people. And Raul Jimenez's grandson tells us this year's dinner will make a difference for people who need it most.
Prices have gone up with inflation, and it's just getting really, really hard to afford things.
While Americans are embracing for an expensive Thanksgiving, data from USDA estimates food prices will be up 9.5 to 10.5% this year. Historically, they've only risen 2% annually.
We just kind of have a community table so that everyone could come, enjoy. That way no one's left behind and the mission continues.
Now, of course, the Jimenez annual Thanksgiving dinner is free and open to the public. The doors are set to be open at 10 a.m. on Thursday. And of course, you can expect our KSAT cameras to be there covering the entire event. Alyssa Cole, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alyssa. To other news tonight, a carjacking ends with an off-duty San Antonio police officer shooting at the alleged suspect. That suspect not hurt, but is now in police custody. Officials say it started with a carjacking around 4 p.m. when a woman's Dodge Charger was taken at gunpoint. About 2 hours later, the stolen Charger was spotted by police officers, but that suspect got away. Moments after that, the off-duty officer spotted the vehicle and tried to stop it by firing one shot into the vehicle. The suspect was not hit, but in an attempt to get away, he then crashed the vehicle. Police were able to arrest that suspect on Old Pearsall Road near Ray Ellison Boulevard.
The gun that was used in the carjacking was found in the suspect or in the stolen vehicle when they recovered it.
The off-duty officer will now be questioned as part of the investigation. No injuries were reported, but there was significant damage to the stolen vehicle and a fence caused by that crash. The Red Cross will be helping one man who lost everything in a house fire tonight. Firefighters responded to that home on around 6:30 on Gorman Street near East Houston and I-35. Fire officials say that fire was in the guest house and fully engulfed by the time they arrived on scene. The man who lived there was able to make it out safely. However, he is now displaced. No other injuries were reported.
A man is in jail tonight accused of pistol whipping his roommate so hard he knocked him unconscious. 23-year-old Raul Bermudez is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The incident happened back in October. Bexar County deputies say the two men got in an argument over Bermudez eating the roommate's food. The roommate even accused him of turning off a Ring camera to hide the alleged act. When confronted, that's when deputies say Bermudez allegedly assaulted the roommate. New information tonight. We now know the name of a man killed on Northwest Loop 410 last night. He's identified as 25-year-old Ruben Griego. That's according to the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office. We've been following this developing story all morning. The crash happened before midnight on Loop 410 near Evers and Callahan Roads. Police say Griego was walking home when he was hit by a car and the driver got out and ran off. Police were able to find that driver a few feet away. They're now charged with failure to stop and render aid, resulting in death.
Tonight, investigators are trying to understand what led to a rampage at an LGBTQ+ nightclub in Colorado Springs that left 5 people dead and 25 others wounded.
As ABC's Andrew Dimbert reports, officials say part of the investigation includes a prior encounter with the suspect had with law enforcement.
A memorial continues to grow outside of Club Q, an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs, and the scene of the latest mass shooting in this country. Police say the suspect, 22-year-old Anderson Lee Aldrich, armed with an AR-style rifle and multiple magazines, began shooting as he entered the club.
We do have multiple criticals.
Police say the initial 911 calls came in just before midnight, officers arriving at the scene within about 3 minutes. 2 minutes later, the alleged gunman was detained.
It was so scary. I heard shots, broken glass, bodies. It was, how? Why?
Two club goers being hailed as heroes.
We actually had two incredibly brave, at least two incredibly brave citizens that were inside the club. And as soon as they could, they grabbed onto him and detained him for us, and they potentially stopped a lot of people from getting killed.
Among the victims, 28-year-old Daniel Davis Aston, a bartender at the club. His mother telling ABC News her youngest son Daniel was amazing and that he was our baby. Authorities say this shooting is being investigated as a hate crime. President Biden calling the attack senseless, saying we cannot and must not tolerate hate. The suspect was arrested in June of 2021 for allegedly threatening to harm his mother with a bomb and weapons. A tactical team was called. Neighbors were evacuated. No explosives were found, but Aldrich was charged with kidnapping and menacing. That prior arrest is now part of the investigation. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
And tonight we are getting reaction from one of San Antonio's Pride leaders, Robert Salcido Jr., Executive Director of the Pride Center San Antonio, saying tonight the mass shooting in Colorado is particularly painful because today is Transgender Remembrance Day, where people everywhere are honoring the lives lost to violence against the trans community, just one of the marginalized groups represented in LGBTQ+.
This is a day for us to remember those folks and to say their name. Trans folks are marginalized to the extreme. They are vulnerable to these attacks that are happening in our own backyards.
Meanwhile, staff at the Pride Center San Antonio already organizing a vigil to honor the lives lost in Colorado.
The season of giving has arrived, and some college students in Uvalde are hoping to inspire others to participate.
For them, it's as simple as providing a meal to their fellow students. And as the night team's Lee Waldman reports, the need on campus is high.
The shelves are stocked at the Southwest Texas Junior College Food Pantry.
You can grab 3 cans of vegetables, 1 thing of peanut butter, or usually we have jelly, a thing of rice, tuna, really whatever it is they're looking for.
While the pantry has been around since 2017, COVID made a big impact.
We saw a really big decrease in donations being made. So as a past Phi Theta Kappa project here, we decided that it would probably be a good idea to try and revamp. And
Landon Haynes has been going to the junior college full-time for a year. She's president of the college's honor society, Phi Theta Kappa. She took on the challenge to revive the pantry.
They might need that little bit of extra support just to make it a little bit easier, having to, pay for college and help with families.
It benefits the students on campus. Each semester they can grab from the pantry 6 times. Right now, the need is greater than ever.
Half to 2/3 of our student body is low income, so they're making 150% or less of the poverty line.
These red donation buckets are set up throughout the campus. They give you a list of all of the pantry items that they're looking for to stock the food pantry, but online there's a way for you to donate monetarily.
We also have the contribute button on the website where you can go to designate that you want to donate to the food pantry specifically.
Haynes' mission has reached local businesses like the Uvalde School of Gymnastics.
It's just a good way for all of us to be involved and make a difference here in the community.
Keep it stocked up, keep it organized, and keep the awareness being spread about it being here.
Another program the college is starting to help the food pantry is rounding up your total at the school cafeteria. That extra money will go towards keeping the pantry stocked. Back to you.
Roadways are back open in parts of New York after historic snowfall hit this weekend. How people there are starting to get back to normal with snow still around. Plus, the smallest doses can have a fatal effect when it comes to fentanyl. In our latest KSAT Explains, we'll show you what fentanyl looks like and why it's so hard to catch.
And it's a court-ordered treatment that for one man was not only life-changing but also life-saving. He shares his story in the hope of helping others dealing with severe mental illness. Know that help they need is out there.
It is a program for the most severe mental illness cases in our community. Assisted outpatient treatment, or AOT, is ordered by a judge for those who are caught in a cycle of hospitalization, homelessness, or incarceration. San Antonio has a strong AOT program, which is why it was chosen to host the latest national conference on the topic. A local AOT graduate turned advocate told me the program saved his life, and he wants other families to know about it.
Eric Smith began his life as a talented and gifted student, but severe bipolar disorder took over in his teenage years.
Fast forward through a bout of addiction, which was co-occurring with severe mental illness.
He was eventually living out of his car, dealing with episodes of psychosis.
I was arrested for a low-level offense where I was in jail for a month without any treatment for my diagnoses.
That's when Bexar County probate judge Oscar Kazin stepped in.
Gets me transferred here to the San Antonio State Hospital where I'm stabilized, and then immediately after stabilization, I was stepped down into assisted outpatient treatment.
Assisted outpatient treatment, or AOT, is a court-ordered program for people like Smith with severe mental illness.
People like me who couldn't perceive reality, couldn't perceive our own illness, couldn't understand our need for treatment, couldn't understand the danger that I was putting myself in.
Smith says its success lies in what's called the black robe effect.
It uses the added accountability layer of a judge to make sure that the team itself, that's the psychiatrist, social worker, nurse, and so on, that they're held accountable to each other.
It's a civil order that lasts on average 6 to 12 months, and there are no punishments if you don't complete the program. Smith says AOT saved his life, so he travels to share his story at events like the National AOT Symposium that was held last month right here in San Antonio.
We got to hear from judges around the U.S., stakeholders around the U.S., family members who are just begging to find out how can we get an AOT program in our area around the U.S. like we have here in San Antonio.
Though 47 states have adopted AOT programs, there are still some people who oppose it, claiming it's forced treatment.
I can clearly state that I was never forced to do anything I didn't want to do. My feedback was valued when I said I don't like the side effects of these meds. It was changed.
Smith will continue sharing his story to educate the public and help people just like him.
So once the AOT program ends, the patient is immediately transitioned to other services within the community, setting them up for success. Smith has now gone back to school to get his master's in social work, and he's already working with people experiencing homelessness at SAM Ministries.
We wish him well. Thank you. Let's take a live look outside with live cam tonight. A raw, chilly 42 degrees. We've been hovering in the 40s for a couple days now, it feels like, Mia.
Yeah, absolutely. The stretch of colder than average days has definitely continued this weekend. And I think we'll find a few more below average days temperature-wise as we head into the upcoming week. But those temperatures will gradually start to warm as we approach Thanksgiving Day on Thursday. But before we can fully get there, it is going to be another cold one out there as we head into our Monday. And along with those cold temperatures also comes the chance to find some scattered rain push across the area. So tomorrow morning, definitely pack the umbrella. I think we'll find the higher coverage of rain throughout the first half of the day. Some spotty PM showers still possible. And of course, with that rain cooled air and the added cloud cover in place, temperatures will likely struggle to once again break out of the mid to maybe a few upper 40s out there tomorrow afternoon. So it is going to be another day to bundle up and keep the umbrella and rain gear handy. For some of us, not all of us this Sunday night, we already have tapped into a little bit of light rain activity. We're pretty quiet across our southern and western counties, but here in Bexar County over the past hour or so, we've just found a few clusters of light to moderate rain push through town. On the west side of town, that rain is letting up just a little bit. Still have some light rain in the downtown area, stretching across the east side of Bexar County for places like Kirby, reaching up to Windcrest, just to the north of China Grove. That all headed up the I-10 corridor for places like Seguin as well as Marion. And then as we take a look farther up to the north, we just have a few more spotty showers that are making their way through portions of Kendall as well as Comal County near the Canyon Lake area and just north of Bernie over in Kendall County as well. All of that activity streaming farther up to the north as well as the east. And as we zoom this out and take a look at the bigger picture, more widespread rain in place along the I-45 as well as I-35 corridors, generally north of San Antonio. This all thanks to a little bit more moisture in place as well as a disturbance, this area of low pressure that is pushing across the Texas Panhandle. This is what's going to allow us to increase those rain chances as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into early Monday morning. So let's take a look at the latest version of Futurecast depicting what the radar could look like here over the next 24 hours. This is 2 a.m. early Monday. Notice we're seeing some more of that spotty shower activity develop generally south of San Antonio. And then as we head into morning drive time tomorrow, could still be a little soggy out there in spots as well. Some more shower activity continues to stream farther up to the northeast as we head into the late morning hours tomorrow. And then while I do think coverage should start to come down a bit through the afternoon and especially into tomorrow evening, a few lingering light splashes of rain certainly possible. So probably just a good idea to keep the rain gear handy regardless, as well as the coat, because it is going to be pretty cold out there as well. Now, yesterday, it was a soggy start to the day. And here in San Antonio, officially, we picked up on half of an inch of rain, which brings our yearly total to just over 10 inches. But we still are in the top spot for the driest year to date on record. So hopefully we can pick up on some more rainfall totals over the next 24 hours to help us with that. We'll keep eyes on it. But let's quickly talk temperatures because, yes, it is still really cold out there this Sunday night in the 40s here in Bexar County and for the majority of the surrounding San Antonio area. Like the past several days, because we have the cloud cover in place, those temperatures likely not going to budge a whole lot through the overnight hours. So we'll start off in the low 40s here in San Antonio, and then those temperatures only look to climb into the mid to upper 40s at best, I think, tomorrow afternoon. But there's that warming trend that takes place in the days leading up to Thanksgiving. That's also when we're expecting our next cold front to move in. Maybe a few isolated showers, especially farther east. Temperatures around 70. This next front doesn't pack as big of a punch when it comes to our temperatures, so still comfortable with more sunshine into next weekend.
And I have noticed the tail feathers
I did it
twerking.
just for you, Tim.
We asked for it. I asked for it at 5:30, and there it is.
There it is.
Twerking turkey.
I'm going to call him.
It's officially Thanksgiving week here at KSAT. Thank you, Mia. You've made me happy.
Good.
It's hard to do. All right, Greg Simmons will be along with a preview of Instant Replay right after this. The Dallas Cowboys respond from their unexpected overtime loss to the Packers in Green Bay with an unexpected blowout win over the Vikings in Minnesota today. With more on that and what's on Instant Replay, check in with our friend Greg Simmons.
Unexpected because the Vikings were 8-1 going into that game, and the Houston Texans are booed off the field after a terrible first-half performance today against the Commanders. Coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
Parsons lined up on the near side, standing up and trying to attack. Cousins. Here comes Parsons. Parsons got him from behind, and the ball is out.
Micah Parsons started the party with a sack that turned into a fumble, and Dak Prescott and the Cowboys offense took it from there, handing the Vikings their worst and only second loss of the season in Minnesota. With all the highlights, we'll take you inside the Cowboys' winning locker room.
They hadn't had the ball very much. They've had penalties, turned it over, sacked 3 different times.
Yeah, you can hear a little bit of it there. The Houston Texans' effort was so bad in the first half that their own fans booed them off the field as they go on to drop their 5th straight game and just have 1 win all season long. We'll show you how it went bad right from the start.
I actually like Anthony Davis shooting over double team better than Patrick Beverly wide open in the corner.
Big block the other way. And speaking of 5-game losing streaks, the Spurs are trying to avoid one of their own. They face the Lakers tonight in L.A. without Pop. We'll explain that. All that plus the UTSA Roadrunners are now Conference USA regular season champions and will host Conference USA championship game on December the 2nd after roughing up Rice. And who impressed you the most in today's Cowboys victory, in their blowout victory, I should say, in Minnesota? Tonight, you decide. Instant Replay is live, and it is after the night beat.
That one was never in doubt today for the Cowboys.
Not at all.
All right, Greg, thank you. We'll see you again in a little bit. The cold temperatures didn't stop people from heading to the cinema this weekend. See if the highly anticipated Black Panther sequel was able to keep their expected win at the box office.
And several states are starting to dig their way out of the historic snowfall from over this week, why emergency crews are having to work overtime to keep the streets safe.
Is there any way for anyone to tell just by looking at a pill or a powder whether it contains fentanyl?
No.
And in our latest KSAT Explains episode, we are talking fentanyl. Our team visited the DEA lab up in Dallas where pills laced with fentanyl are coming in by the thousands. We explain what fentanyl is and why the DEA believes it is being used to lace fake pills and why it's so lethal.